All right, joining us now, she is the new pitching coordinator at Texas A&M after being a GA in College Station there with the Aggies, and of course, a standout career at UCF, and as before that at Boise State. Speak of Gianna Mancha joining us on In the Circle on D1 Softball, powered by 643. How you doing?
I'm great. Loving life.
Well, let's discuss. You're making some headlines here. You got now the title, the pitching coordinator. Tell us a little bit behind what goes behind that title and what those responsibilities look like being a pitching coordinator.
Mostly helping Coach Ford with whatever she needs, taking things off of her plate as much as I can. I've been diving into a little bit more of like the data, which I was the past 2 years. But I think I can just dive into it a little bit more, knowing a little bit more. And then obviously, just seeing how bullpens are kind of just collaborating with Coach Ford on things. Um, but yeah, I'm doing a lot of the similar things that I did as a GA. I think obviously taking on a little bit more, just with a different title. So.
Do you know, was this always a goal of yours? I remember like it was a few years ago you talked about maybe getting into baseball side of things and everything like that. How did you get into this path?
Yeah, I mean, I took a year off after I had graduated and I was playing pro for 2 years. I moved to Arizona with who's our recruiting coordinator now. We were roommates. We were roommates in Boise, and then we both separated when we transferred. And then I made my way back to her when she was in Arizona. So we lived together for a year there, and then she was like, "I'm gonna go be the recruiting coordinator at Texas A&M. There's a GA spot." And I was like, yeah, like I was doing lessons and stuff. So coaching is kind of where I had seen myself. I just wasn't like sure of it yet. So when I got here and I started learning from Coach Ford, Coach Harger, Coach Heff, like it was game changing for me. And I was like, I really want to do this. So, and it was a lot easier for me than giving lessons. I almost felt like it was different for me. I was like, these girls, I really only have to tell them like something once or twice and they like listen. So yeah, I there was a time where I wanted to do scouting in baseball. I knew a couple of people in the MLB and things, but I think my passion and love is softball always, and so I really couldn't step away from it.
Oh, that's clear. Do you remember the day where you were offered this pitching coordinator title?
It wasn't necessarily an offer. It was more of like, do you like I want you to be here. Do you want to stay? And I was like, absolutely. I would not want to go anywhere else. So
Pretty right, ready to get to the point, right? Nail there. Uh, how much time? So take us through that. Like, how much time do you go to the bullpen? Do you go to the bullpen? Like, where do you usually? How do you set up as a pitching coordinator?
Yeah, so last year, it'll be different going into this year. I'll be able to make my way into the bullpen a little bit more and then come back and talk to Coach Ford about things. But last year I was right next to her pretty much the whole time. I was kind of just in the dugout, um, and just overseeing some stuff in there. So it'll be a little bit different for me this year. I'll be able to go back and forth more and have a little more leniency in both areas, so the dugout and the bullpen. So I'll be in and out of there.
I do remember seeing you in the dugout a lot on TV. Like, hey, there, I know her very much. Uh, what did you learn? What have you learned that's made you better today than you didn't know maybe a couple years ago when you got into it?
So many behind the scenes. I think what I'm learning now is what I was trying to learn as like a junior and a senior and not fully understanding it. And finally, like when I'm in different shoes of like, okay, I'm not pitching. I'm having a different like outlook on like what's going on and what we're trying to accomplish. And so seeing them, especially the younger ones, like our freshmen and our sophomores, I'm like, okay, I was in this position and now I'm seeing it from a different view of like, this is what people were trying to tell me. And so trying to get them to understand that.
What's it like? It feels like there's this big movement going on now where, it used to be, hey, if the head coach was the pitching coach, that's it. That's basically, that's all they got. Maybe you get a GA here or there. But now in the sport, more and more coaches are using extra titles and new titles to add people to help them on the pit, with the pitching side. Do you sense that and being a part of that, and you're seeing it elsewhere?
Absolutely. And I think Coach Ford is huge on she wants to learn so many new things and she's not just like adamant on this is what it is, this is how we do it. There's no changing it. Like she is very like, what ideas do you have? What ideas do you have? Like she's taking in so much just from all of us too. And so I think like that's something new in this softball world too, is where people are creating positions for people to be able to have their opinion and this person's opinion just to like there's so many new things going on, especially with data and things like that, that a lot of coaches want input from and trying to get help from other outside sources.
What's one thing you've learned, or a couple things you've learned you wish you knew as a player?
Oh, um, I wish I took a little bit more time in the scouting of it. I wasn't terrible at like knowing what a hitter's swing was, but I wish I like took a lot more time of like studying that and understanding that. I think it could have helped me a lot in different ways. I was just a competitor, so like I was like, you're not going to beat me. But I think if I took a little bit more time within that area, I it would have helped me a little bit more.
Just help them. Well, now you know that it'll pay off now as you're in your title and your role there.
Yes.
You've been working for Trisha Ford. What's that been like, and learning from her, and being with Coach Ford?
It's awesome. I love being around her. We connect really well and like feed off of each other really well. And she takes so much just from our outside sources too that we have and like learning. So like I'm on all the Zooms that we have with other people, and just like learning about just pitching stuff or like any type of data. And so diving into that with her, it's awesome because she's been at Fresno State, Arizona State, like all of these places. And so just to kind of see like how she's run pitching, like it's really cool to see. Especially like I was with Coach Bear forever. So like that was almost all that I knew, which is also good. Like I've been able to, bring a couple of things that I've learned from her here and things like that. So we work really well together.
That's a great comp there. You just mentioned there, you Coach Bear. Yeah, you grew. How long have you known her? Since what? How old were you? Like 12, something like that.
You're
14.
really young. Yeah, it was before the whole September 1st happened.
Yeah, it was
I
like
knew
all.
her.
So you go from Coach Ball-Malone and her style to Coach Ford. I mean, first of all, that's not many players could say. Not many people could say that, which is very fortunate from your standpoint. You got two great minds there. What's that? What is that? What was that transition like? Because you knew Coach Ball-Malone for a while, and now you adjust to Coach Ford style.
Yeah, I think they're both they're tough coaches in a good way and they want to better you absolutely. And I think it was different. We weren't at UCF, like we weren't a Power Five yet. And so seeing what Power Five has as in like technology wise and things like that, like we definitely didn't have that at UCF at the time. And so we did more like I would say it was just more like bullpen work instead of like looking at data. So we get to do both here, where I didn't get a lot of data at UCF, but not that that wasn't a bad, like, that's not a bad thing. Like, we were working our butts off, every single day. And we are here too. It's just, I'm seeing way different of like how data is, like, because I never really got to when I was um, pitching. So. It is very different, but I would say in a way they're pretty similar in like wanting to get the best out of their pitchers.
Have you, since you've been at A&M, has there been a pitcher that you're like, oh, that reminds me of me there? She's got a little bit of me there. Who jumps out to you there?
Sydney Lessentine, so she was a freshman last year. So I wasn't with her obviously my first year here. So last year was her first year, my second year, and like kind of understanding who she is as a kid and how she is on the mound, like very composed, nothing really like bothers her. She's kind of just like in her zone throwing. And I was like, she reminds me of me. She's not that like raw, like in your face, but like she'll get there like if it's like a good situation, like you'll see it. But she reminds me a lot of myself. Definitely.
Has there been a moment where you've been talking to a player, you've given them some advice, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, that's the advice I got from Coach Barrett. Oh man, like, right? Like,
Absolutely.
because as a player, you're probably not really totally buying in, or maybe you're like, I don't know about you, don't agree, but then you realize now as a coach, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, we had some tough times, especially through SEC play, with like Sydney, where I would chat with her and stuff, and I'm like, this is in my head, I'm like, yeah, I've been here. Like my freshman year, I was like, maybe I shouldn't be a pitcher. This is crazy and really hard. But she's overcome a lot, and she finished on a huge high note, given I know we didn't end the way that we wanted to. But she came into the first Liberty game on that Sunday, and it was 3-2 count, bases loaded, struck her out. Like that was as big of a moment as you're gonna get as a freshman. And um she really took it and owned it. So that was awesome to see.
Yeah, part of the development there. I remember a year ago in Clearwater, you played UCF. How weird was that to be on the opposite dugout there? Of course, you came out on the winning side, so maybe not too bad for you.
Yeah, it was good. It was good to see everyone again. And I saw there was a couple of the girls in the stands like Katie and Grace, and I saw Shannon. So it was good to see everyone again.
How often do you think about 2022?
Um, I mean, not like every day, but I mean, that was one of my greatest years, like just being with that team and knowing what we were trying to accomplish and what we did accomplish. Like it was really cool to see like all of the buy-in and the hard work that we were putting in, like even all of us staying through the summer before that season, like it was really cool to see and just be around that group of girls.
Yeah, I mean, you came along with Justin Molina to UCF 2020. Coach Ball-Malone said that was the turning point of the program under her watch at UCF, and obviously a turning point in yours as well, coming over from Boise State, I would imagine.
Yes, yeah. I had a rough year my sophomore year. And I was like, I think I need a little bit of my structure back. And so that was why I went in. And I know my parents, when I told them, they were like, you want to leave? I'm like, yes. And they were like, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, don't argue with me. I'm doing this. So that was that. And so when I got the call from Coach Bear. I was excited, and I actually got a call from Coach Ford also. So I was in between those two, but I Justine committed like as we were there, and I was like, okay, well, can you just hold on? Like, I don't even know what I want to do yet. And so by that time, I think I was home like a couple of days, and then I just called Coach Bear, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna come to UCF.
Safe to say it's worked out from that standpoint. I
Yes.
do wonder from a coaching standpoint, in this day and age with the transfer portal and everything, does your experience help you from a coaching standpoint? Because you've been in those shoes, being at Boise State and deciding to transfer to UCF. I mean, that was a big move for you
Hmm.
personally. Can that experience help you now? Because you're going to run into players perhaps that are portals and stuff like that now with the way college athletics is today.
Yeah. I think it does help a little bit. I will say though, because the transfer portal and the way NIL is right now is so different, I don't know. Um, I just think my experience was more like I'm not having the best year for myself, and like I want to be able to be a part of a team that is going to better me, and like I'm going to better them. And so that was really the reason like I had transferred. Like I just wasn't super happy anymore. And I was like, it was hard when Coach Bear left too. And so, because she was all that I ever knew, like, and getting ready to know. So, that was why I transferred. So I don't know. And I'm not saying that people are transferring for the money, but, I just like, I feel like sometimes you never know of like what happened with their story and why they're leaving, and why they wanted to find a new home. So,
Amazing how things change, right? You're like, oh man, I was too young. I was too young. I should have been there a couple of years.
Yes, we say it all the time. We're like, well, this is a brand new era. Absolutely.
Oh, that's too good. How much have you reflected on your pro career? Because you played shortly after for a couple seasons and professionally, and you pitched internationally as well. What do you reflect on those experiences?
Um, I will have those forever. Those were really cool, and playing pro was something I absolutely never thought was going to happen. And I mean, props to the pro world. It's growing so much right now, especially with AU and things like that. So, um, I mean, I hold those memories very near and dear to my heart. I met two of my best friends through pro, and then I was able to play internationally with Taryn, which she's just awesome. So, her and Mary Iacocco are two of the people that I was like, wow, I found two really great friends through this entire process, good and bad that we had. So, it was fun, and playing international, that is just like really cool for me. Like I've never stamping my passport in all these places. I was like, this is really cool. So.
How much of a player do you still have in you? Could you play right now? Like, where are you from that standpoint? How much of a player do you still have in you?
I think I'll always have that player in me of like being competitive and wanting to win and things like that. So, I mean, my arm hasn't gone a circle in a minute, but I could definitely get right back into it.
I only ask because, as you know, the Olympics this year will be in the States. It'll be in
I
Oklahoma City in
know.
2028. I mean, it's only a few years away if you want to make a comeback.
I know. I know. So,
Okay, you're gonna keep it close to the vest. I got you. All right, all right, very good, fair. What is the part of the playing career you miss the most?
I definitely think just being with the girls. I think when we GAing my first year and seeing like how the dugout is and how the girls were getting along and like the moments that they have like in the airport on the bus, I'm like those are the times that I miss a lot. Of course, I don't miss the conditioning test and things like that. But I do miss that like camaraderie piece of being able to, be with them, talk to them about anything and just be around them. So,
The thing that's unique about your career, you mentioned Boise State. You were part of that team when they won their first ever Mountain West championship. 2018, you helped turn that program around for Coach Ball-Malone, who has told the story many a times how, she took over the program. They're at the bottom, and she had a rough first year and everything. And players like you and Justine in particular, she always highlights the two of you, helped change that, bring that culture there, win that Mountain West title. You then come over to UCF. You help them get back to the NCAA tournament. You and Aaliyah White was the 1-2 punch. And then 2022, they host for the first time. They're a national seed and all that. I mean, when you see all, I mentioned all those, milestones. What goes through your mind there? Because you've accomplished a lot in your softball career, all over the place.
yeah, I'm just super grateful. I was just a kid, like super skinny kid, Coach Bear saw something in me and I'm just so grateful that, I was able to start like I have no regrets on anything of like starting at Boise, ending at UCF, all the things. Um and then ending up here. And so it's amazing to see and to kind of like you're like saying all of it and I'm like, "Oh yeah, we did do that. We did do that." So I mean, and the people that I've met along the way, like friends that I'm like I see on social media, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like I miss them," like things like that. So and like me and Hallie always talk about it. We're like, I would give anything to like go back to our freshman year just for like a day. Like it would be really fun. So, yeah, I mean, just core memories and things that I'll never forget. Those are just like big milestones that, I'll get to tell my kids one day.
Yeah, and I know you still got more to you want to conquer there,
Yeah.
from that standpoint. But you know, was softball always the plan? Did you always want to be involved in softball, even growing up, or did you have other plans? What was it like growing up?
Yeah, I mean, I've ever really known is sports. My parents grew up playing. My dad was at Long Beach. My mom played softball. Um, Pitching was not. I was like I liked shortstop way better. And
Really?
oh yes, that was my favorite. But hitting was so-so. It was hit or miss there. But pitching, I feel like sometimes like I just was like my mom and dad had asked me one time like, "Are you sure you want to be a pitcher?" I'm like, "Yeah, why not? Like what could be so bad about it?" Then I remember my freshman year, I was like, "Oh, this is hard." So, but no, I think I had the right mindset for a pitcher of like understanding like you're gonna fail a lot of the time and kind of trying to be like, hey, you have about 10 seconds to turn it around after that. So, kind of being in that pitching mindset all the time. So, but yeah, softball's always been it. I played volleyball for a little bit. Just don't think I was
Volleyball.
yeah.
What
Played
position?
soccer. Oh, it was in middle school. So I I was really bad at basketball. I that was rough. I was not good. My ball skills were not good. Soccer I played when I was little. Got hit in the face. Decided that's not it. Nope, I'm
No.
good. But yeah, softball's always been it. So, um, yeah, it's been I remember when I was in like I was seeing my aunt sent me pictures of me in a dirt dog uniform when I don't even remember how old I was, but I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like I was so young, like I was literally looked like a twig, had no muscle. So, it is crazy to see that right now. So,
I'm trying to envision this. Like, first of all, like you did not feel like you were a pitcher, which is kind of
no.
wild. And how did you become a pitcher then if you didn't because clearly you didn't have that confidence. Where how did you develop that confidence?
Well, so since I was 8, I was going to the same pitching coach, Courtney Dale in where I'm from. She played at UCLA. Um, she was like the best. That's where I learned how to pitch, and she really taught me like the basics of it and like hitting your spots. That's something I will always hold on to. Excuse me. Like I was just wanting to hit my spots. I maybe didn't have I wasn't throwing like 68 and not, I didn't have like crazy wicked spin, but like I could hit my spot. So, I mean, that was where it took off for me. And then I started learning different pitches and things like that. So, but yeah, I was just in there, just throwing my arm in a circle. And then really when I got to middle school, I was like, my dad and my mom were like, okay, this might be the way for you. So I was like, all right, well, here we go.
Hitting your spots though, I don't feel that gets talked enough as far as a from a pitching standpoint. How much do you talk to your players about that and make you because so many people focus about how hard you throw and speeds and all that, but you got to hit your locations. Like you were masterful watching you play. You were on your game when you hit your spots. You were unhittable. That was a key. That was a big part of your success. Do you is that something that gets brought up and talk? Because I don't feel like that gets brought up enough. And too much people talk and focus on speed and pitchers and how hard I could throw instead of focusing, hey, hit your spots because that's going to make you even seem like you're throwing harder based on how you hit your spots.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some people who talk about it. There are some who maybe don't, and they're more worried about other things. But I do think that's a huge component in like just being a pitcher is being able to, like command the zone and understanding what your pitches are doing. And I feel like Coach Bear's gonna kill me for this because I don't remember all four, but I will always remember she always said it was command, deception, velocity. Yeah, she's gonna kill me for not knowing the fourth one. But I will always remember that because it was more about like, can I hit my spot? Can I tunnel this pitch with this pitch instead of like you're trying to get in there and throw 70? I was never gonna throw 70. My body, I wasn't big enough. I wasn't that strong to do that. So I had to rely on other things of like being able to have deception within my pitches and being able to command the zone whenever I needed to. So even on my bad days, I was like, I can still hit that spot. So that was that was big for me. So I think sometimes though too, if you do have a pitcher that is able to throw 70, like absolutely the velo piece is awesome. But I do think hitting your spots is a huge thing in for pitching, at least when I was pitching. And so and now here, we're command heavy, especially. So
I mean, hitters are so talented now with the video footage, having everything there. Like you have to hit your spots, or it doesn't matter how hard you throw, they're going to hit you. Like if
yeah.
you miss your spots, they're going to hit you there. Regard. Now you mentioned your mom was what played. All right, describe your mom as an athlete.
She was mean.
It's
My aunt and her played, and so in high school they always tell me this story because my aunt was a pitcher, and so I guess a girl hit a ball back at her, and like my aunt like fell to the ground, and I think the girl who hit it, I don't know if she was laughing or didn't really feel bad, and so I guess the next play when the girl was stealing, my mom was at shortstop, so she took the throw from the catcher. And they always tell me like my mom fully like just bodied the girl. So took her down.
no way.
Yes. So I definitely think I get my um like I'm not to say mean, but like really competitive and like fiery within myself, like from her. My dad's more of the super chill, super calm. Like he was a center fielder, like he was just like catching the ball, throwing it in, like so very different, but I think both of them have I've had both of them in me.
Mean streak. Whoa, man. See, because I can see it, because you were very calm in the circle. At least you bluffed it. Like you weren't
Yes.
like never faced. So that came probably from your dad. But I never saw that mean streak there. That's
It would
intensity.
come, especially I think it was at when we played ECU and something happened to Jada and it was I think something happened at third base and I was like, well, if that girl comes up to bat. Hmm.
Wow, learned something new. I'm just happy she likes me then, because that's good. I guess I took care of you as a broadcaster, because she's
Yes.
always been very.
Yes.
She'll text me every time like, "Hey, did you see this?" I'm like, yeah, "I'm aware. I'm proud of her too. I like her there too." What was it like after a game you pitched? How were they like? Because they were sports, so they were athletes, so they could relate. Were they just being your parents? Were they just be more like? How was that like? Uh, Feedback from your parent family there, your parents after games.
They were just my parents, and my grandparents too. They would just text me like regardless if it was a good game or not for me, like it was like, my dad would always be like, "Well, you better watch film." And like, I'm like, "Okay." My mom's like, "You're fine." Like, my grandparents are super supportive also. So they were more parents for me. I think because I grew up and my dad was my coach a lot of the times, I had already been through that, gone through that, like, of like being coached every single day and like, you need to be better, you need to do this, and da da da. So, yeah, they were just my parents being super supportive. So,
You had a brother too that was playing baseball at the same time you were playing softball, right?
yes, yes, my brother, he was, oh my gosh, he's so funny. I think when we played Michigan in that last, in our regional game, he was going crazy. And he's a huge fan. I think he was there too when we played Florida State, at Florida State in that regional. It
Yeah.
was day two, so it was trying to get to the championship, and he was going insane. I mean, that is someone I will always hear. I'm pretty sure my family was like, we could hear Gavin on the broadcast. Like, so he's very supportive, yes.
Did you two get competitive?
When we were younger, absolutely.
Ooh, like would you face him? Like would you pitch to him? Did you strike him out? Like how intense would he, or was it other sporting event or other stuff you guys would get competitive about?
Get really competitive over wiffle ball.
Wiffle
That
ball. Okay.
yes,
All right.
we had that was he would definitely turn it off if he was losing. Sore loser right there. But I actually never pitched to him. He was always like helping my dad catch me. So I never actually threw to him, which is kind of crazy. But yeah,
Really?
he was always helping catch me, or we would go out and play catch together. I would hit him ground balls. We would mostly go out and like if we were taking ground balls, we play wall ball together. That was a big one. But yeah, the Wii and the wiffle ball was very competitive.
What kind of feedback would he give you after one of your starts?
He would just tell me that I did good, or
Okay.
if I did bad, it wasn't my fault.
All right, so he was defending you no matter what. Okay,
Yes.
okay, all right. He wasn't gonna pile on you. Okay, that's very
No.
good brother there. A couple things before I let you go. Obviously, you've had a lot of success during your time there at A&M, but I know that the ultimate goal is to get to Oklahoma City. You've been close the 2 years you've been there, like one game away and all that. What talk about that motivation because I know that motivates Coach Ford and you all like really it's, people forget like what a job she's done since she's gotten there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's put that in perspective. But take me through that motivation internally there because I know you're all motivated to get to that next phase there, and you're very close.
Yeah, well, I think last year it left a bad taste in our mouth. And people aren't going to stop talking about that until they see what we do this year. And so it's last year was rough and it was very unexpected. But anything can happen in this game, and that's what we have to remember. So I do think, going forward, this off season for us, going into fall, like we are honing in on the small things, the little things that, we maybe don't pay attention to all the time. So understanding those little things that are going to help us in the long run. And just, we have a lot of new girls too. We have a couple transfers, a couple freshmen. And so those are some pieces that we needed with some of the seniors that had left. So they're great too. Good personality, good kids. So, they're gonna mesh well together, I think. And yeah, I think we're not gonna like dwell on last year, of course not, but it's definitely in the back of our heads of like we have we got to get that off everyone's mind. So
Well, the interesting, I mean, people are going to be asking her and over there, but obviously with Kennedy graduating, that's like a big void, in the circle there. It reminds me a little bit of what you went through when Aaliyah White graduated, and everybody kept asking, "Oh man, what's going to happen? You don't have Aaliyah White. Who's going to help Gianna?" And then this young lady named Kama Woodall helped you, and you've both formed another that 1-2 punch there. Is that the? Do you see similarities there from that standpoint? Because people are going to bring up, "Hey, you don't have Kennedy," but I would assume you're gonna tell people your pitchers, hey, that's motivation because that means you get to make your own name this year.
yeah, I mean, we brought in a transfer. She's a senior this year from Mizzou, Taylor Panel. So I think she's going to be a huge piece in helping, even though she's new, but she has that veteran in her and like understanding what it takes. She used to be a closer, then she became a starter. Like she's been in all the roles that maybe some of our girls haven't been in. So I think, she's going to be a huge component for like our bullpen leadership and things like that. And then, of course, the girls are sophomores from last year, and Sydney Peters, she ended up being hurt last year, but she's going to make a good comeback this year. So I think there's just a lot to that we want to accomplish together. And so having a couple of those pieces is really going to help. I don't losing Kennedy is tough, but I do think that, they're going to lean on each other more and understand like they're going to have each other's backs going in and out of games. So
When because you can experience that too. You've been a reliever and a starter there. How much is that a big adjustment from a pitching standpoint, like going from either reliever to pitcher or a pitcher to starter to reliever?
yeah, I actually like being a reliever. You go in knowing like I have to be on no matter what. We're starting a game, you might be like, oh, I can, get an inning or two, but really you can't. So, understanding that I actually liked being a reliever more than I did a starter. I didn't mind starting, but being a reliever, you just get that like you have that pressure, and so I don't know. It kind of drove me to be like, oh yeah, like. we're gonna get this done. So I just like the reliever position more, but I love starting and relieving. So
Describe where you play your home games. One of the best facilities in college softball there. Everybody that's been there, Amanda Scarborough, etc. They all like rave about it. The diamond there. What's it been like, College Station? What's it like being in College Station, and then coming to that beautiful facility every day to work?
yeah, it's nice. We just like renovated a couple of the spots on the inside. And so it's really nice to walk into work and be in this facility. And super grateful to be here. And the fan base is amazing. My parents will tell you they came for the LSU series that we swept, and the fans were, I mean, it's like nothing I've ever really experienced. So, I mean, it's really cool to see. And the stands are, you can see it from our dugout. So, like the whole side and stuff. So, you just look up and there's like 100 people. So, I mean, it's really cool. And I think we had like some record crowds this
Yeah.
past season. So, it was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's the support has been there. Record grows, and it's become again. People have really gotten hooked on softball there just from watching all the coverage there. And big credit to Coach Ford and the job she's done there as
Yes.
well. Now you're very young, still in your life and career in general. So I want to mention that because I don't want Coach Ford to get mad at me for this question, but you're a pitching coordinator. Is being a head coach a goal? Is do you think about that? What is your, do you have long term goals from a coaching standpoint, or you just take it a year at a time? What's kind of your philosophy, your game plan here moving
Yeah,
forward?
I mean, Coach Ford actually asked me the same question of like, what are your goals? And I don't head coach like in my head is like really far. Like yeah, I don't haven't thought about that like really. I'm really happy with where I'm at in my role of being able to still learn so much and take all of that in as much as I can and learn and understand all of that and um being able to like just still have like a good um like I don't have to do all of the outside work of like the interviews and all the things like so I like where I'm at right now. I mean, I hope one day I do, become like a true pitching coach. But right now I am just super happy with where I'm at, being able to learn, being able to put my opinions in of like I'm being heard, like things like that. Like it's not like it's a good collaboration and things like that. So.
How much do you talk about pitch calling with her? Because she's regarded as one of the best pitch callers in the sport. You played for one of the other ones that's one of the best pitch callers in the sport, in Coach Ball-Malone. I mean, I don't know if you, as a player, talked to Coach Ball-Malone about even pitch calling back then, but like, how much of that do you talk with Coach Ford and pick their brains?
Yeah, me and Coach Bear, we would definitely talk about it, especially team by team of like how we're gonna go after them and it was more of yes, we're going after their weaknesses, but sticking with your strengths as a pitcher. Coach Ford, I mean, yeah, she's one of the best pitch callers like that's in the game too. And so understanding and seeing how she her scouting is amazing. So seeing her go through that and how she looks at that and works through that, like I'm learning about that because I want to learn more of that piece of it, which I was like, yes, I want to learn way more and understand it. But being with her the past 2 years, I've taken some bits and pieces of like, okay, she does this because of this and this because of this. So yeah, I mean pitch calling is it's a hard thing. Like when you really get down to the nitty gritty of it, like when it's game time and like what pitch, she's always like, all right, I'm gonna do this one and like just goes for it. So
I don't know if people realize both of them, because I've talked to both of them obviously a long time now, known them a long time. Both have been on the U.S. national team, assistant coach and stuff. Both have a sense of humor that people I think don't really. You know this, probably been around the two, right? Both. I,
yes.
I, I don't know. I'm not going to put you on the spot. Say who's the one that's funnier, but they both have good material.
Yes, yes. And I think also being around Coach Heff and Coach Harger, they are
Yes.
some characters. So um I think like they're probably funnier than just everybody in general. So
That might be a good contest. We could get Coach Bear, Coach Ford there, see a laugh off, see who can make you laugh more. Would be a fun contest somehow. We should make this. We should like stage that. But no, it should be a lot of fun there, to say the least. Hey, by the way, NCAA now 32 seeds. So now when you ask me about seedings, I could give you specific numbers now because I'm
Yes,
telling
I
you.
know. You're my guy for that. I'm like, what's going on and where it's happening? Tell me.
I hopefully I didn't. Yeah, yeah. I always think back to our selection show where I kept reading it off. There, you were like pretty.
I
You were
was
blown
shook.
away. You were like blown away by that.
Yes, I was. And that might have been the longest selection show still that I've ever been through. I was fully sweating. So,
Well, hopefully I didn't ruin it for you. I hopefully made it better experience than.
yes, yes.
I appreciate you. Always gave me credit, so I appreciate you for that. Hey, listen, this has been fun catching up with you. It's been too long,
Yes.
but I always follow you every day, and I'm proud of you what you're doing. I will see you, I'm sure, across soon there. But thank you so much for taking the time. Congrats on the title, well deserved. And I'm sure, like I said, Coach Ford's excited to have you. Everybody's excited to have you over there. I know I've heard great things that you've been doing there, so keep it up. And thanks for taking the time to talk to me and talking to us here at In the Circle on D1 Softball Powered by 643.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.